Lena Matthews was the kind of person who noticed everything: an eyebrow raised in a conversation, a light left on in a room that should be dark, a sound just faint enough to trigger curiosity. It made her a great writer, a better friend, and the kind of daughter who always knew when something was wrong before anyone said a word. So when she moved into her new apartment and felt something was off, she didn't dismiss it. She couldn't explain it, not logically, not at first. But something about the air in her bedroom felt different. Staler. Heavier. The silence wasn't peaceful, it was watching her. And she couldn't shake the feeling that someone or something was with her. The apartment itself was a steal. One bedroom, clean, newly painted, and in a neighborhood that was normally out of her price range. The landlord, an older man named Mr. Baird, seemed kind enough, if a little intense. He told her the last tenant moved out suddenly, said it had nothing to do with the apartment itself, just a personal emergency. He offered her the place fully furnished, with a discounted rent if she agreed to move in immediately. Lena, having just left a toxic roommate situation and desperate for solitude, said yes without hesitation. She signed the lease the same day. The first few nights were uneventful. Quiet, even. She unpacked her things, set up her laptop, started outlining her new novel. But by the end of the first week, the unease crept in. It began with the alarm clock on her nightstand blinking at 3:13 a.m., even though the power had never gone out. Then she started waking up feeling watched, like someone had been in the room moments before she opened her eyes. Once, she found her bedroom door slightly ajar, even though she was certain she'd closed it. She chalked it up to stress. But then came the recordings. Lena had always used a sleep app on her phone that monitored movement and sound. She liked tracking her sleep cycles, especially when writing on a deadline. One morning, she noticed the app had picked up a strange file, something from around 2:47 a.m. She played it, expecting to hear her own tossing and turning. Instead, she heard a soft creak, like a floorboard shifting under weight. Then a whisper, indistinct, low, and then her own voice, muttering in her sleep. "Who are you?" She didn't remember dreaming, but something about that recording chilled her. That day, she bought a small motion-sensitive camera online. Just a cheap one. She placed it on her bookshelf, hidden behind a stack of old books, aimed at her bed. It wasn't about paranoia, it was about peace of mind. She needed to know it was just her imagination. The next morning, she checked the footage. Most of it was still. Nothing. But at exactly 3:11 a.m., something changed. The camera flickered. Then, for just under 12 seconds, a shadow passed in front of the lens. It wasn't a trick of the light. It had depth. Movement. Like someone pacing just out of view. Then silence. She froze the frame and zoomed in. It was blurry, but she swore she saw a hand. Pale. Long-fingered. Hovering near the bed. She didn't sleep that night. Instead, she bought 2 more cameras and placed one in the corner of the ceiling, the other near the hallway leading to her bedroom. She checked the entire apartment for signs of intrusion. The locks were fine. The windows secured. No tampering. No signs of forced entry. Yet every night, the same pattern. At 3:11 a.m., movement. Sometimes it was a flicker. Sometimes a blur. But something was there. On the 4th night, the camera caught something more. A figure. Just for a moment. Standing at the foot of her bed. Not moving. Just watching. Lena felt her stomach drop. She downloaded the clip, played it frame by frame. The figure was tall. Too tall. Its proportions were wrong. Elongated. As if someone had stretched a mannequin into human shape. And its head tilted ever so slightly, like it was studying her. She went to the police. They looked at the footage, told her it was likely doctored, a prank, or an illusion from low-quality tech. They took a report, filed it, and told her to install a better security system. They didn't believe her. She could see it in their eyes. That night, Lena didn't sleep at home. She stayed at her friend Erin's apartment across town. Just for a night, to clear her head. But she left the cameras rolling. She had to know. The next day, she checked the footage. 3:11 a.m. Movement. The figure appeared again, but this time, it looked around. Confused. It didn't find her. It stood still for nearly a full minute. Then, it turned toward the camera and smiled. That was the first time Lena screamed out loud. Aaron, panicked, sat with her while she reviewed the footage again. They watched in silence as the figure tilted its head, raised a hand, and pressed one long finger to its lips. SHHHH. Aaron wanted her to leave the apartment permanently. But Lena needed answers. She had to understand what was happening. She called the landlord, asked about the last tenant. He hesitated, then said the woman had become increasingly paranoid. Complained about being watched. Said she heard whispers at night. Eventually, she vanished. Left in the middle of the night. Never came back for her deposit. Lena searched her name. Natalie Gresham. She found a blog. Last updated 6 months ago. The final post read, "If you're reading this, I've probably already left. I can't stay here anymore. I thought I was crazy, but it's real. It watches. Every night. The cameras help, but they only delay it. It doesn't like being seen. If you move in, check the smoke detector." Lena ran to her room. Yanked the smoke detector from the ceiling. Inside, behind the battery casing, was a tiny lens. Not hers. A hidden camera. Not wireless. Not commercial. Custom. And hardwired into the building. She called the police again. This time, she had proof. They launched an investigation. Traced the wiring through the ceiling, down into the basement. Behind a locked storage door, one only the landlord had access to, they found a monitor. Dozens of tapes. Labeled by tenant name. By room. By time. Mr. Baird was arrested the next morning. Dozens of violations. Dozens of victims. A voyeur. A predator. Years of hidden surveillance. But it didn't end there. Because when police reviewed Lena's footage again, especially the videos from the night she wasn't home, they found something that couldn't be explained. After the figure smiled, after it shushed the camera, the recording glitched. For just a second. And then the figure was gone. Gone mid-frame. No exit. No transition. Just gone. And in its place, a message. Burned into the frame. In red. Not him. Lena didn't understand. Neither did the police. They dismissed it as a corrupted file. But Lena wasn't convinced. She moved out the same week. She tried to forget. Started therapy. Deleted the files. Burned the hard drive. But 2 weeks later, Aaron called her. She sounded shaken. "Lena," she whispered. "Last night. I saw something in my hallway. I thought it was you. But it wasn't." "What did it do?" Lena asked. Aaron paused. It smiled. And then, it shushed me. Lena's stomach dropped. She asked Aaron to check her smoke detector. Inside, behind the casing, a tiny lens blinked red.